Look at this scene. Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. A little bit brisk up here on the mountain. Also called mountain. It's an old volcano. This is the side of the crater here. Yeah, and I'm not sure if I made the right decision to come up here, but I'm thinking I have, just looking at this light on these trunks in here, these gum trees. Driving out here this morning, out to Mt Buninyoung, I believe it's called, correct me if I'm wrong. It's about half an hour just out of Ballarat, old volcano. This is the rim. Was fog everywhere, but I already had a plan to come here and I didn't really want to change my plan, and I was humming and hawing. The whole countryside was just covered in a thick blanket of fog, but I knew there wouldn't be fog up here because it's quite high. It's about 700 meters, this little mountain here. Glorious, gorgeous mountain, as you can see, these gum trees all through the forest here. So yeah, I bit the bullet, forgot about the fog, because like I said, I didn't want to change plans, and I already had my intentions to come up here, and I didn't know where I was going to shoot down in the fog, so came up here, and I think I'm glad I did, just with this beautiful light casting from the east as the sun's rising and coming through the forest here, and just hitting parts of the trunks of these trees in here. I'm getting some really nice images. But yeah, I thought I'd come up today and talk about my thought process, what I go through when I do woodland photography. For now, I'm going to capture some of this light on this trunk back in here, and before it fleets. No clouds though, but it will rise higher, obviously, and then get into the canopy, and I just won't have that nice light across the middle of the frame here. So I'm going to get to it, grab some images, talk about my thought process. Getting back to my thought process, so ideally you always want fog. Well, not always, but like now, nice light works beautifully, side light especially. So fog, perfect. And it helps because obviously it's so cluttered in here, so chaotic, messy. So it kind of brings me to my thought process when I do frame up a shot, is I always want to fill the frame when I'm in an area like this. And I've talked about it before, you don't necessarily need the whole tree. You might see a beautiful tree, you don't need the whole tree in the image. I think less is more. So for example, I've been walking around in here, I've been doing like zooming in on my 24 to 200, getting real tight, and just taking extracts of the trees themselves, just the trunks, and you can still tell a story sort of that way. You know what I'm shooting, obviously, trees in a woodland area. Instead of going wide and getting everything, it can look a bit too chaotic sometimes. Wide work sometimes, and that brings me to another thought process. I always like to change up my lenses. Typically, woodland photographers will use, you know, a 24 to 70 or a 70 to 200 mil. I'm using 24 to 200 mil just to get that reach. You zoom in, tighter crop, but wide angles do work quite nicely, especially when there's fog too. You can do what I'm doing here, but get a wider vista, like a 16 by 9, and the fog can cut out most of that scene. The fog can cut all that chaos out. But yeah, I'm going to play around, give you some examples of some of these images I'm talking about here, and find somewhere else. Sun's getting quite high now, so obviously the light from here right in front of me will move up the branches. But yeah, there's a little valley just behind here I want to try and capture. Yeah, I'll try and get this one for you. So there's two other things I sort of look for in woodland. You could probably have a huge list if you wanted, but I think if you have a few basic rules, you'd be fine. Again, It's subjective. You do you. Get out there, have fun. But I'm just telling you what I go through when I'm out in a place like this. One of the other things is I'm trying to look for separation. You might see in my photos, or any woodland photographer photos, separation between each of the trees. So if you're looking around and all the trees are lined up, it doesn't look as good as if you just move your camera 2 feet to the left, 2 feet to the right, foot back. You can actually break the separation of the trunks and fill that scene in, like I was saying in the first thought process. So it's always a good idea. Maybe even take your camera off the tripod, walk around with it, get down low, left, right, until you get that separation between the trunks, the tree trunks, and your subject. Just makes an overall better image. And the last sort of process I go through, luckily here it's a gradient, slow hill, and like I said, I'm just getting the sort of bottom thirds of the tree here, is the sky. Again, if there's no fog, you want to think about that, because that'll distract your image. If you have this beautiful beautiful scene of tree trunks, and then you've got an inch of blown out sky up the top, try and crop it out in post, or you know, move your camera around, zoom in again, filling the frame up, and try to avoid that blowing out highlights of the sky. It's always a big one. But yeah, I'm going to keep walking around down the scene back here where I was talking about separating the trunks, and I'm going to give that one a go. Still some nice light in here. The grasses here are beautiful, brown lit. In fact, I can look off the side here of the rim. So if you will, this is sort of the rim of the volcano, the actual craters down there. All the fog in the valley's gone, so I wouldn't have had much time this morning to play around in the fog, so I'm actually glad I came up here. But that's for another day, and we're gonna try and get a separation of these tree trunks in here. There is one unfortunate thing. I don't know if you can pick it up. It's way in the background there. It's red. It's a man-made building. It's a radio tower back there, or a fire tower maybe. But yeah, I might have to work that too. There's another little tip for you. Try not to get man-made crap in the back of your image, but I'm not sure if it's picking up. It's right back in there, but I might move around and do a separation image and just walk around, see what else I can get. Just a glorious spot. It's not too cold. I thought it was. I brought a jacket, didn't have to put on. It's about 15 degrees up here. Brisk, but still nice. In fact, now there's a few people starting to come out and enjoy it as well. I can see over the background there, but why not? Alright, let's try and get an image from these trees. Wow, just looking over the other side of this, the hill here, or the mountain just down in there, there's still a lot of fog. So yeah, I can't wait to hit that at some stage. I get a lot of foggy mornings out here. I'm really keen on it. But yeah, pretty simple video, my thought process. Thanks for coming along. Also, thank all the people who commented about locations in and around Ballarat on my previous video. I appreciate it. Checking a few of them out as we speak. Well, not now, but have been over the last few days, and I'll give you a shout out if I go to that location and make a video from it, because I appreciate it. Appreciate your comments, your views, the likes, all that goes on. So yeah, I think it's time to sit here and listen to the cockatoos. But yeah, see you on the next adventure, guys. Have a great week, and yeah, see you then.